from the Tech.AD build in 2017. I'm Christina from we.CONECT and I'm really happy to be with Roger Rivett from Jaguar and Rover. Roger, welcome to the conference.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time to participate in that interview. Do you mind just briefly introducing yourself and tell us a bit more about your professional background?
Yeah, so my name's Roger Rivett. I work for Jaguar Land Rover. I'm a technical specialist there in the area of functional safety. The industry now has this functional safety standard, ISO 26262, and that's been a big part of my life since 2005. I'm on the international committee that created it, and my role within Jaguar Land Rover is to ensure that the company processes and procedures are compliant with the standard and that we engineer the products to be conformant to it. Mm-hmm. And that's my life.
And you joined us for the Icebreaker Roundtable session last night.
Yeah.
What particular question did you bring with you, and what insights did you kind of get, or what questions did you have?
Yeah. I mean, when we do functional safety, part of the thing that the ISO standard requires is a safety case, which is a little bit ambiguous as to exactly what it is, but it's an area that I'm quite involved in trying to develop. But you're doing a safety case for, you've developed some technology and you're arguing why you understand what the issues are, why what you've done is adequate for those issues. But when we move on to the highly assisted driving features and autonomy, the rules are sort of changing, and the approach that we've been taking in the past, and I don't think sort of scales up. So I'm really interested in, given that we'd probably be putting product in the marketplace before we have standards, before we have legislation, what do we have to do? What's our due diligence as, responsible OEMs and tier ones? And I'm thinking that the safety case approach, where you sort of lay out what you think the issues is, what you've done, why you believe they're adequate, is perhaps, the way forward. Maybe legislation and standards will come, but in the interim, how do we move forward? So that was where I was coming from with that question. I don't know, I mean, it's a big question. The group, had some discussions. I don't think we, arrived at answers. Yeah. There's a lot of emphasis on testing in simulation, on testing on the roads, and we've heard in the presentations, today some of the clever things that people do. But the question is always, how much is enough, and why didn't you do more testing? Yeah. Which obviously, if something happens in the field, then somebody will say, well, you should have done more, obviously. But at some point, you have to stop because you have to deliver a product in the marketplace. So that's really quite a new aspect, for us to grapple with. And as I say, we talked about it, but I don't think we had any, answers as yet.
From your personal point of view, what do you think should be done in the absence of any legal requirements that aren't in place at the moment?
So, that's where I'd say I would be the advocate of companies doing what I would call a safety case, or an argument that explains what they've done to understand the problem, what they've done to mitigate it, and maybe willing to make some of that information public. I mean, there's a tension there between wanting to be open, and as a society we seem to want more openness. We like openness, but obviously there's commercial secrets and things as well that you need to guard. So there's a bit of a balance there, but that's the approach I'm advocating.
Yeah, you just mentioned that topic, but how much information do you think should be placed into the public domain, and how much should be kept secret?
Well, I mean, I think things like algorithms and such like, which is probably, IPR and people make money from, then, apart from saying we had a very professional team and we, this was the sort of validation we did, you couldn't go into the details of the algorithm because that's somebody's IPR. But, justifying why you did a credible job in developing it and validating it and laying out some of the things that you did, I think, that's not IPR and just shows, due diligence, has been properly done. I think especially if you're a startup company and you haven't got lots of background, people could say, well, why would we trust your product? So I think, potentially there's a commercial benefit from having some information that you can make publicly available.
Okay, and you also mentioned earlier that this is the first type of autonomous conference you've actually attended.
Yes.
So what personal insights are you hoping to get? What are you hoping to take away?
Certainly going to learn more about the technology in this morning's presentations. Were teaching me things. I'm interested to understand what other people who are developing technology think the issues are, and what they think the safety issues are, and if they think whether they even consider that there's safety issues. I mean, I'm in a conference where people are generally very positive about technology and what it can do. But I come from a discipline that looks at technology and says, how's it going to fail? It's a sort of a different mindset. So I'm interested to understand what they think the issues are and sort of marry that up with, well, what do I think the issues are?
Yeah. Oh, good. Well, thank you so much for sharing your insights. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time. And I hope you get all the insights you're looking for and enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thank you.